All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another Dragon Ball Super video, and with the update and clarification on Japan Expo Paris 2025, I wanted to kind of discuss with you guys what this could potentially mean for all of us. I know there was a lot of confusion before the expo themselves came out and corrected the information that was going around, but them doing this shows us that they're at least practical with understanding how quickly the fan base can learn something and get the information out like wildfire. That information spread within a couple of hours and it was all over the internet. It was crazy. So if you guys didn't see our last few Dragon Ball Super videos, I'm gonna link them up at the top of the screen right now so you can go watch those and get the full scope of my thoughts during those moments in time. But while a lot of my thoughts haven't necessarily changed from the last couple of Super videos that we've done, I wanted to further elaborate and speculate on what I assume could be happening when Toyotaro takes that stage on July 6th. And just to give you guys the exact quote so there's no further confusion, the initial tweet that went out before the correction stated that Toyotaro was set to speak on an original manga he would soon be working on to Dragon Ball's editor at the panel, but a few days later, a page called Red Ribbon DBZ would clarify these translations and new description confirmed by the expo. DBS Hype's tweet would read, "After clarification with Japan Expo themselves, it turns out that Toyotaro is not working on any new manga, or any original manga, mind you." The site phrased the panel description horribly. Instead, Toyotaro is set to talk about the Dragon Ball Super manga with Torishima, Dragon Ball's editor, on July 6th. And this is verbatim from Twitter, as you guys can see. I'll have it up on the screen right now. So fortunately, it doesn't look like Dragon Ball Super is being shelved or anything crazy like that for the foreseeable future. I mean, it's already kind of been on the shelf for over a year now, but it is getting to the point where the fans, like, we gotta know something. We've been on hiatus since the end of the superhero arc, and that big sparring match between Ultra Instinct Goku and Beast Gohan, that was the last time Super kind of broke the internet. So what could Toyotaro be announcing or discussing when it comes to Super? Literally anything he says. I mean, we are starving right now, so just the mention of this panel even happening, it's got mouths watering right now. I think there's a good chance that more than just the Dragon Ball Super manga gets talked about at the expo, but that's strictly my own headcanon. There's been nothing specifically revealed that indicates this, so take that with a grain of salt. That's just what I think. However, when it comes to Toyotaro and his business with the Dragon Ball Super manga, I feel like we all have the same one hope. We're all thinking and wishing for the same thing. Toyotaro announcing that he'll be taking over the manga indefinitely and giving a release date for the return is the best case scenario we could ask for. If this is the case, I could see the return date maybe being around the end of the summer, possibly August or even September, unless next month's V-Jump, which should be coming out around the time of the expo or maybe a little after, give or take a couple of days, has scans and additional info. Although I don't think they would have any additional info until this panel comes out. They would want Toyotaro to speak on it and break whatever news he has first. We've seen Toyotaro keeping his pen sharp too, with almost monthly illustrations in some capacity ever since the hiatus began, and we of course unfortunately lost Toriyama. But it's about time that he comes out and directly addresses everything that he's able to. Of course, obviously, we don't know what type of NDAs or contracts that he's under that's restricting him from speaking about certain things. In an appearance he made a few months back, he also spoke about being excited to continue bringing us more fights in Dragon Ball Super, and he spoke about this in length in a video as well. I think this happened on a Japanese talk show or podcast. I'm pretty sure this was actually last year, so it's been a while since this happened, but we did a video on this, so I'm sure you guys probably remember exactly what this was better than I do. So this makes me hopeful that when he does come back and speaks about the manga, he'll be bringing us more news this time and not just kind of words of affirmation. But again, we don't know what he's able to talk about. If the Dragon Ball Super manga does return this year, I think the most logical and anticipated direction that they could move forward with the story is reintroducing Black Frieza and starting some sort of Black Frieza centered arc. Black Frieza only appeared for a single chapter at the end of the Granola arc, of course. We know that Frieza came across a room of spirit and time somewhere in Universe 7 and trained here for a total of 10 years. Of course, this was 10 years inside the Room of Spirit and Time and only, what, a couple of months outside in the real world while the events of the Granola Saga were happening. When he reappeared, he was stronger than everyone. Ultra Instinct Goku, Ultra Ego Vegeta, even Gas and Granola, who had prior made wishes to the Cerulean Dragon to become the strongest in the universe, sans the gods of destruction and angels, of course. This was explained that because Frieza was in the Room of Spirit and Time while these wishes were made, and this is technically, the Room of Spirit and Time is technically a different dimension, he wasn't in the present universe at the time, so these wishes didn't apply to his strength. Frieza got his strength the old-fashioned, honest way, and when he showed up, he didn't hesitate to demonstrate it by not only killing Gas, but he also one-shot Ultra Ego Vegeta and Ultra Instinct Goku while they had just recently gotten healed by Minato. So no, they were not exhausted, they were not hurt, they were not like on their last leg. They had just recently got, I think it was the chapter before this actually, Minato had just healed them. So they were relatively near full strength. I'm not going to say that they were 100% at full strength, but Black Frieza one-shot them both in their strongest forms. So with the superhero arc now being wrapped up in the manga, I think it is finally time to address Black Frieza properly now. Where is this new Room of Spirit and Time? What exactly was Frieza doing differently during this training than when he achieved his golden form? And what is the state of his character now? Is he back to being a villain? Which could be argued against since he let Goku and Vegeta live and only killed Gas when he showed up on Planet Cereal? Or is he just more of an antagonist permanently now? He seems to look at them more as rivals now instead of enemies, which could mean that a future Black Frieza arc might not just be about Goku and Vegeta trying to get rid of Frieza for good. I don't know, it's kind of like a coin flip on how that could go with seeing how Frieza's character is at this point in time. This is still one of Vegeta's goals though, and we saw back on Planet Beerus that he was deep in thought, remembering how powerful Black Frieza was when he knocked King Goku out, and this was his drive for the foreseeable future to continue getting stronger. But Frieza has his own goals. If Black Frieza's goals moving forward involve dethroning any of the gods of destruction, then a potential battle against Beerus may still be on the table, and I know that's one thing a lot of us, me especially, are hoping for. I actually think this is a perfect time in Dragon Ball Super story for someone to officially be stronger than Beerus and defeat him, because he's constantly just been this moving goalpost throughout the series, and we've done numerous videos on this. Beerus is just, no matter how strong Goku and Vegeta or anyone else for that matter gets, it was always like they would just be one tier below Beerus no matter what. But Black Frieza finally being stronger than him after the light work he made of Goku and Vegeta in their strongest forms, mind you, is almost overdue at this point, and I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think if Black Frieza does confront Beerus, he needs to win to give this new power of his any relevance, or just not confront the gods at all if they're not gonna let him take that victory over Beerus. Hopefully Toyotaro speaks on Black Frieza in length at this panel and maybe gives us some insight on how he wants to move the story forward with such a significant development right before the manga went on hiatus. Sometime last year there was also rumor of a new Dragon Ball Super movie being announced in 2025 as well. While there's no confirmation on this and there's been no more info on this rumor ever since it was initially talked about, hopefully this will be another point that Toyotaro brings up, and maybe there will be more clarification on this too. Now, since the Expo went out and corrected this false information that was going around prior, that lets me know that they know the things that the fan base is talking about. So they know that we're kind of expecting a movie to be announced soon in the next, I'd say, year or two, I guess. They know that we still think about the anime returning at some point. They know we're still waiting on any news on the manga. They know this stuff. The last movie we had, of course, was the superhero movie back in 2022, and the Dragon Ball Super anime ended in 2018, guys. It's been 7 years. Like, entire anime series have came and went in that amount of time. Can you believe it? So if there is no mention of the return of the anime, which personally I highly doubt there will be with everything going on in the background, but I mean, anything could happen. I just personally don't see this happening. I think the next best thing we could get is the announcement of the Moro arc in movie format. I know this is probably just as much as a long shot as hoping that the anime comes back, but this is a theory that we had last year as well, since these should get adapted at some point, whether it be soon or 10 years from now when all the legal battles are over. But I'll ask you guys, would you rather the anime come back with the Moro arc and it possibly take a lot longer, Or if it's possible to get this sooner, would you like to have a Moro movie like next year or in the next 2 years or something like that instead? There's a lot that could come from Toyotaro's panel at Japan Expo Paris, so make sure you guys tap in on July 6th for hopefully some groundbreaking news surrounding Dragon Ball Super and the manga specifically. But anyways, fellas, that is gonna do it for this one. I don't want to make this video too terribly long, just a little discussion on the state of Dragon Ball Super right now. Have a great day, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.